Oh my God, Jake Tapper just had on James Comer over Comer and the two other Republicans' attacks on Alvin Bragg during his investigation against Donald Trump. This is one of the most ridiculous interviews I've ever seen, and Tapper is pulling no punches. I'm not a Tapper fan. Stick around.
Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg's office is accusing 3 GOP House chairmen of trying to interfere in a local investigation as they renew their demands that he testify about his current probe of former President Trump. Joining me now is one of the Republicans behind the request. He just wrote a new letter to Manhattan DA Bragg defending your decision to investigate his office, saying that you're considering taking legislative action to prevent presidents from, quote, politically motivated prosecutions. As of right now, of course, Trump has not been charged with anything. What do you say to Bragg, who says you're trying to stop a charge from happening even before you know of any evidence?
Well, what the DA is trying to say is what you just quoted. He said stay out of local investigations. The problem with that is this is not a local investigation. This is a federal investigation. He's investigating a presidential candidate, not to mention former president of the United States, for a federal election crime. That has no business being litigated in a local district attorney's office. And when he says he's not going to cooperate with Congress, unfortunately for Mr. Bragg, he doesn't have the luxury of determining whether or not he can comply with congressional requests.
Really? Coming from a Republican in today's Congress, he doesn't have the luxury to defy a congressional subpoena or a congressional request?
Searching for Republicans defy congressional subpoenas. According to my sources, 4 House Republicans, including Representative Kevin McCarthy, signaled that they would not cooperate with subpoenas from the committee investigating the January 6th attack on the Capitol. The other 3 representatives are Jim Jordan of Ohio, Scott Perry of Pennsylvania, and Andy Biggs of Arizona.
Don't worry. Tapper does not let him off the hook for that one.
Because he crossed over 2 levels of government, from the local level to the federal level, to try to prosecute something that clearly, if there was a reason for prosecution, it should be done by the Department of Justice on the federal level.
Well, he's investigating, as I understand it, potential violations of state crimes.
And trust me, Comer knows this. Whatever happened to, we gotta respect the state's rights. We gotta let states do what the state wants to do. We gotta leave them alone. Unless it's a Republican needing to fill their agenda or narrative.
Even at that, look, let's just be honest here. I mean, this is about politics. This is a presidential candidate.
Over and over again, but he's a presidential candidate. Let me ask you, Comer, was he a presidential candidate when this investigation started? No. With your logic, I could just go out and kill somebody, and when the cops show up, I'm like, hey, whoa, whoa, whoa. I could have done it. I could not have done it. Doesn't matter. I decided I'm running for president. Eric Thompson, 2024, baby. Woo!
When you look at what we believe the role of the Manhattan DA should be.
Ooh, I got a good drinking game for you guys. Every time he says we believe, drink. Go.
We believe that our tax dollars, and that's where I come in with the House Oversight Committee. We believe tax dollars would be better spent prosecuting local criminals. That's what a DA is supposed to do.
Are you arguing that people who commit business crimes are not committing crimes?
Look, well, is this a business crime? We're talking about a federal election crime here, Jake. This is a federal election crime. The Manhattan DA does not write federal election laws.
My understanding is that he's being investigated for falsifying business records. There was a related prosecution. Michael Cohen went to prison. That was a federal investigation from the U.S. Attorney during the Trump years. I don't remember hearing anything from you during that period. I guess he wasn't a candidate, but he had been working for Donald Trump.
That was a U.S. attorney that prosecuted.
Right.
We're talking about a local attorney. And look, if you open a can of worms here, here's what's going to happen. You're going to have county attorneys in red areas, in parts of Kentucky, rural Kentucky, where I am, that are going to start trying to overreach into federal election laws. This is something that if it needs to be investigated or prosecuted, it should be done on the federal level by the Department of Justice. This is a presidential candidate. What one frustration Republicans have in Congress is that we keep having interference in our elections. We just want the government out of our elections. We don't believe tax dollars should be spent for this. We believe this is a political stunt by Mr. Bragg. We believe the statute of limitations has expired on all of this stuff. Clearly, if there's something that rises to criminal level, then
you'll find out whenever he's finished with his goddamn investigation and charges him. Fuck.
Should be done on the federal level.
They always want it both ways. They always want it the other way. Oh no, this should be done on a federal level. When it's on a federal level, no, this should be done on a state level. Oh no, this should be on a federal level. Oh, this should be on a state level. It's fucking stupid. It's fucking stupid. And if you can't see right through this, you're just happy enough with the idea that you're sticking it to the libs when you're really just sticking it to yourselves.
He hasn't, I mean, you keep asserting what this investigation is, and we haven't seen an indictment, we haven't seen charges, we haven't seen evidence. What if District Attorney Bragg comes forward with an indictment, with evidence, and proof that Donald Trump did commit these crimes? You still think he shouldn't be charged?
Well, we believe that he should come explain to us exactly what he's investigating, because at the end of the day, this is a presidential candidate. This is the, for better or worse, leading contender for the Republican nomination.
For better or for worse? Wow. Just wow.
Of the presidential election next year, as well as a former president of the United States. It's unprecedented for a local district attorney to investigate things that we believe the statute of limitations expired years ago. Now, look, if the special counsel that's looking into this wants to do something, if the Department of Justice wants to do something. I rise today in support of the creation of the Select Subcommittee on the Weaponization of the Federal Government. Then they probably, for better or worse, have the ability to do that. But we are sick and tired of meddling in federal elections. And I don't believe that Bragg would be doing this if Donald Trump were not running for president. And that's something that we would like to ask Mr. Bragg as well. Would you be doing this if he weren't a declared candidate for president of the United States?
Oh my God. He started this before he announced his run for president. Before.
When did Alvin Bragg begin investigating Donald Trump? Alvin Bragg inherited the years-long Trump investigation when he took office as Manhattan District Attorney in January 2022. The investigation began in 2019 under his predecessor, Cyrus Vance.
Okay. And when did Donald Trump announce his run for president in 2024?
Searching for Donald Trump announces run for president 2024. Former President Donald Trump announced his third presidential bid on November 15, 2022, during a speech at his Mar-a-Lago, Florida home.
Now look, I'm no rocket scientist. I got my GAWD. I'll be the first one to say so. But look, I can add 2 + 2, and I can look at a calendar and I can tell the difference between these times. No need to drag Alvin Bragg in for a federal investigation. I just solved it on TikTok.
If so, if this is the reason you're doing it, then this is a political investigation, and we again desperately want to keep the Department of Justice from meddling in presidential elections.
So fucking confused right now. You want to keep the Department of Justice out of meddling in elections, in federal elections. But this whole thing is about you wanting the federal government to get involved. Instead, but you don't mean the federal government. You mean you. You mean your partisan bullshit, you.
I thought the issue was that it was a local prosecutor, not the Department of Justice. But let me ask you, if he refuses to come in willingly, will you subpoena him?
Well, that'll be up to Jim Jordan. I mean, he's the lead investigator in this particular situation. I come in as oversight because this deals with unnecessary use of tax dollars. Chairman Steele is head of House Administration. He's in charge of elections. That's why the three of us were the three that signed the letter, but Jim Jordan is the lead, and he would be the one to answer that question.
Jim Jordan, who refused to comply with a congressional subpoena in the previous Congress.
Jim Jordan, the chairman of the House Judiciary Committee.
All right.